Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. If there is an anti-Obamacare candidate in the United States of America right now, it is my next guest, who we welcome back to the show. He is former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services under George W. Bush, who was busy, pushing free market solutions to healthcare problems. Certainly the complete diametrically opposed opinion to what's going on now. And we welcome in Ben Sasse, who is running for the U.S. Senate seat from the great state of Nebraska. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing well, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure to have you back, and I know you're doing well. Am I right? Almost $800,000 raised in just 8 weeks for your candidacy based on, well, you tell me what it's based on, but it can't hurt that you're running and you against Obamacare, and you have served in HHS.
Yeah, we decided to get in this race 8 weeks ago, and we raised just over $800,000 in our first quarter. The people in Nebraska are really responding to a message of saying, let's actually do something to fix all that the government has broken in healthcare instead of breaking it worse, which is what Obamacare does.
Well, I mean, we got, I don't even know where to go on Obamacare, but let me just say, we played a soundbite earlier from Obama today, who talked about, there's glitches, but Apple just launched a new product a few weeks ago, and a few days later they had a glitch. Nobody talked about shutting that down. I mean, the analogy between an Apple product and this healthcare fiasco is it just shows, you got to know who's saying it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that the president really doesn't understand what the American system is about. Value is created by people and communities and small businesses and families and neighborhoods. Washington doesn't define value and create value. And when he draws an analogy between a government mandate that's fundamentally, unconstitutional in my view, that makes people buy a product as a condition of being a citizen for the first time in U.S. history, and he somehow equates that to the great innovation that Americans are building in Silicon Valley, it just shows that he doesn't understand the American system.
Well, also illusions of grandeur, in a sense, I guess.
Yeah, and if Apple, by the way, had their health exchanges go live on a day like this, and 6 states and the federal exchange come up with error messages, system not working, try back later.
Yeah, the stock would tank for a little bit, right?
Exactly. There'd be some accountability.
Yeah, well, there is no such thing as accountability. Talk about where you stand. I mean, I know what you feel about Obamacare, but talk about where you stand on what's going on in Washington right now. And, it seems like Ted Cruz has become this boogeyman. The media blaming everything blaming because they blame the Republicans in the House, but they blame everything the Republicans in the House are doing on Ted Cruz. Like, Ted Cruz is running the House. It's insane. But I know you're an admirer, as am I, of Ted Cruz and what he did with the filibuster and what he stands for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on legislative tactics. I'm a college president and a business guy who does turnaround stuff, and I'm running for office because I believe in America, and I believe in Americans. Not that we have the best bureaucrats, but we have the best people, and we believe in freedom. So there's a whole bunch of stuff about the insider games in Washington that I'm not really competent to talk about. But one of the things that I really do appreciate about what Senator Cruz has done is he has said that when these subsidy payments start flowing in January of next year, it's going to be really hard to get the America back that we inherited from our grandparents. And in that world, we need to be doing real and big stuff to wave the flag to make sure the American people understand what the media hasn't told them, which is that these health exchanges aren't going to work. And there will be data breaches, and there will be fraud. They've got all these sort of honor system ways that people can go on and describe to the IRS what sort of benefits they should get. And Senator Cruz is out there fighting the fight of saying, this isn't going to work, and this isn't a time for business as usual. Washington should slow down and have a big conversation about what this all means.
Now, I know they've put plans out there, but one thing I do fault the Republicans for is that they've always been horrific. Ever since I could remember, as long as I've been doing talk shows, they're horrific at getting their message out. Sometimes they do a better job than others, but overall they do a bad job. And what they should do, in my view, is because you keep hearing Republicans have no health care plan, there's no alternative, they just trash this one, they don't have they should come out with one piece of paper on one side and the 18,000 pages or 1,800 pages, whatever the heck it is, on the other side, and say, here, you like keeping your kids on their insurance till 26? Here it is. You like closing the donut hole? Here it is. You like no pre-existing conditions? Here it is. Like, make 10 or 5 to 10 things, say, here's what we're going to do, and we'll talk about the rest, and put it out there. But people don't know what their plan is. I don't know what their plan is.
Amen. My shorthand for saying that is the Democrats are the party of bad ideas, and the Republicans too often are the party of no ideas. And neither is good enough for America. The Republicans are better than the Democrats, but in a world where we don't put forward good, conservative, market-oriented principles that affirm freedom and affirm the ability of people to go and build that stuff, contra the president, the American people did build that. It looks like elections end up going to the Democrats' bad ideas. And the Republicans, there are many smart, hardworking, well-meaning members in both the House and Senate side. But you're right, the communication cluster in this party is such that nobody can understand what the Republican alternative is. And this isn't that tough. We've created portability in the pension space. It used to be that you had to get your pensions through one employer, and when you worked at that employer for your whole life, it worked out all right that you didn't have any portability because people weren't changing jobs. In this dynamic economy, kids who graduated from my college in May of this year, the demographers tell us they're going to change industries, not just jobs, but industries 3 times before they turn 30. They need to be able to take their pension with them, and that's what 401ks did. It isn't that hard to do the same thing of creating portability in health insurance without having the government have a bunch of bureaucrats that try to get between patients and doctors.
Right.
And Republicans can't talk about that.
No, and I know they do have plans out there. They might have even passed a few in the House, but I don't know what it is, and that's their fault. And one other thing that's their fault is that they're not right now fighting to defund Obamacare. They're just looking to make sure. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I need to sign up for the Obamacare thing. I think I just coughed. But anyway,
the NSA was listening to you.
Right, probably no. But anyway, but what they're doing is all they're fighting for right now is to delay it for a year and to make sure that the Congress and their staffers pay the same premiums that everybody else does. Put the president and Judge Roberts and everybody in the plan that they want to live by. So they're not looking to end it right now. But they can't even communicate that properly.
Yeah, it is really amazing the degree to which the one thing you can get true bipartisanship out of Washington in a hurry is that Congress and insiders should play by different rules than the rest of us. Well, the American people don't believe that. And what Senator Vitter is trying to do right now with the Vitter Amendment is actually make the law be the law. Vitter didn't like Obamacare. I don't like Obamacare. But the law says that Congress and their staffs have to go onto the exchanges. And that means that they've been dumped by their employer, and we, the people, are their employer. And they may not like being dumped, but why do they get the president and the Office of Personnel Management to write a special rule for them to treat them differently than all the rest of the hardworking Americans who get dumped by their employer plans on? It's really breathtaking. But Obamacare says Congress is supposed to be on exchange, and they're trying to write a special rule to get them out of it.
Yeah, it is insane. And we're talking to Ben Sasse, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, running for the U.S. Senate seat from Nebraska. So you've set a record for the fundraising. What's your outlook after 8 weeks? What are your thoughts going forward here? You must be pretty optimistic.
Yeah, well, we're gratified by the way the Nebraska people have responded to us. I'm not a politician. I've never run for anything before. I was Boise State governor when I was 17, but I've never run for any official public office. And so, I don't have a lot of name ID. I'm not some insider who knows how to do all this stuff. But what we've done is respected the voters in Nebraska and go out and have an honest conversation that we know they want to deliver to their kids and grandkids a world as great as the one they inherited from their grandparents. That's not our inertia of motion path. As President Reagan said, every generation has to go recover freedom and transmit it to the next generation. That's what we want to do. That's what this campaign's about. And, we did set an all-time fundraising record in the first 8 weeks of this campaign because the people in Nebraska believe in America and believe in what we want to build. But we got a lot more work to do and a lot of people to get to know in this state. But we're having a ton of fun traveling Nebraska.
Boy, Ben, I'll tell you that Reagan quote, as it applies to the United States, mainland and 50 states altogether has never been more appropriate because we're losing it all under this administration in every single aspect of our lives and our society and our rights. We're just losing it. Give folks a website if you'd like, sir.
Yeah, we'll be launching our campaign officially next week. So we've been raising money, but sassfornebraska.com is where people can.
And that's SASSE for Nebraska. Was that the number 4 or FOR?
Spelled out.
Okay.
FOR. Yep.
SASSE for Nebraska.com. Good luck. I'm sure there'll be a lot less glitches than there are for the Obamacare.
Steve, good to be with you.
Take care, Ben. Thank you.
Thanks
Ben Sasse, ladies and gentlemen. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about the campaign in Nebraska, but he sounds like he certainly is a great speaker, has experience in a very vital area, and has his head on straight and can communicate. That's what it's all about. Hey, like the hokey pokey. Okay, when we come back, another great communicator, Benjamin Netanyahu, spoke at the United Nations today, and I got to tell you, not that he cares, not that he was listening, not that he, but Barack Obama, when he does find out about this, might be a little perturbed because Netanyahu insulted Barack Obama's new best buddy. Yeah, his best buddy, the president of Iran. He actually brought up his past, what he was involved in. The barracks in Beirut, Khobar Towers, the slaughter of innocents in Buenos Aires, you name it. This guy was the head of the security forces for Iran. And like Bibi said, you mean he knew nothing about it? But he's Obama's buddy. So you killed some Jews, you killed some Americans. Who cares? I called you on the phone. You took my call, even though you wouldn't shake my hand. And I want to be your friend. What's that, John Boehner? Tell him that. Hang up on him. I'm talking to my buddy from Iran. Killer of Jews and Americans. That's right. Tell John Boehner he can wait. Insanity. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.